Welcome back to the Watch List. I'm Lindsay Melchuk. As we know, President Trump has signed an executive order to increase American mineral production. Ronald Thiessen, CEO and director of Northern Dynasty Minerals and its 100% owned U.S.-based subsidiary Pebble Limited Partnerships, joins us today to provide commentary on the executive order. Well, welcome, Ronald. This is a hot topic.
It is. It is. I get lots of calls every time there's an executive order that's issued. Somebody phoned and said, "Did you have your permit now?" Yeah, I have to say, unfortunately, even with executive orders, you still got to comply with all the rules, laws, regulations.
Absolutely. So my first question then would be just a general overview of your stock gains. I mean, Northern Dynasty has seen a notable uptick in its stock price recently. So to what extent do you actually attribute this momentum to market fundamentals versus that speculative interest? And really, how are you planning to sustain investor confidence moving forward?
Well, I would say, first of all, we're extremely undervalued. We're the largest undeveloped mineral project in the world. Polymetallic, gold, copper, silver, rhenium, molybdenum. I would say the key to the increase obviously was the Trump election and the executive orders, especially the ones on Inauguration Day that were triggered by a request from the governor of Alaska. But more than that, Pebble has been through the complete permitting process. So we went through 3.5 years of permitting, and it took 10 years to get ready for permitting. So we've been through all of it. We didn't get the permit at the 11th hour. We appealed the denial, and we effectively won the appeal. The denial has been repudiated, and I think people realize that. And so they see under the Trump administration and these executive orders that we've got a really good chance of getting this permit, and the timeline to the permit is effectively very short, probably something like a year or so.
Right. So if we actually unpack that executive order just a little bit further, I mean, we have seen several pro-mining and pro-Alaska executive orders since the beginning of the administration. How could this one benefit Northern Dynasty and the Pebble project?
Well, there was one in particular that talked about federal land, and we're on state land. So many people said, "Oh, well, you're not on federal land." That executive order didn't really apply to you, except for the fact that there was one section of that executive order that wasn't qualified with a federal land pretext. But it stated that the executive, the head of the EPA, would remove any impediments to permitting, and then would expedite permitting, the Army Corps of Engineers, and issue permits. We are in a situation where we have a veto, and our appeal win can't be done until the veto is removed. And that executive order basically says, quite specifically, remove any impediments to permitting. Well, that was the veto. So we believe, and the EPA reached out to us, it's a public notification, that they wanted to put our litigation in abeyance so they could brief the new administration, the new administrator and his staff on the issues around the veto, and then have a conversation about them. So I think that seeing that in the public domain, investors are really taking a new look at Pebble, saying, if this go around, Pebble can get its permits. It's one of the largest and most metal prolific projects, certainly in the Americas.
Well, we are definitely in some very interesting times, and hopefully the movements being made will be a success. Thank you so much for sitting with us today.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Again, that was Ronald Thiessen, President and CEO and Director of Northern Dynasty Minerals. Now, you can head over to their website, northernminer.com, to learn more. I'm Lindsay Melchuk with Stockhouse Publishing. We'll see you next time.